Our friend, here he is.
We can dance if we want to, if we hope somebody will. Cause Republicans are rude and should be removed and act like they're imbecile. I say, Malcolm Nance, Trump is under Putin's control. We can dance while Stephanie dances with a pole. Well, it's the Malcolm Nance, it's the Malcolm Nance. Well, it's the Malcolm Nance.
Hi, Malcolm Nance. Happy post-arraignment. How are you?
Oh, Lawsy, I'm sitting here, if you can't see me, fanning myself with a pack of dry erase markers, trying to keep track of all the heat that's coming out of this happy post-arraignment day.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I don't want to say that I'm happy. If anybody has read my most recent Substack, you'll understand that the one time in my career where I accidentally almost stepped out of a building with a couple of top secret documents, which I never did,
Yeah.
I almost threw up from the very thought that I would have violated the trust of the American people and ended my career. But now I'm having to look at Donald Trump with hundreds of documents. I can't keep myself cool.
Yeah.
I'm just honest. So this is one of the best days ever. Because we are finally going to see that his trust, that the trust the American people put in him was horribly misplaced. And we're next going to find out what he intended to do with these documents.
Or already did. We don't know yet,
or
right?
Already did.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe the Saudis are just naturally generous and just felt like they had to get those $2 billion out of their pockets. We linked to your Substack, Malcolm. It's fantastic. Top secret story time, a very Trumpian indictment tale. And you talk about this as I guess you had gotten sick, not anything serious, but you tell the whole story of how this happened, that you almost walked out with top secret.
Yeah, you should really go read that story. I got sick on a very secret mission.
Yeah.
And I wasn't working for my agency, which was the National Security Agency. I was working an ally with someone else. And they had to send me to their contracted secret doctor, who was a foreign national. And years later, not even years later, a year later, I found that they had misfiled the communications about my illness in my regular medical record and not my secret medical record. There is such a thing. And it showed his real name, the location of where I was, the people I was working with. And had, as the special security officer said, if you had walked out the front door of the building, realized it, turned around, walked back, we would have taken your security clearance. We would have assumed you intended to do this, and we would have assumed you copied it and compromised this other agency's entire network. That's the assumption of the normal person with a security clearance has. Fortunately, I never left the building. I never left my desk and had found it because something in my head said, check for classified. This is not how Donald Trump lives.
Yeah.
Donald Trump stole documents. He stole them.
Deliberately.
Like Edward Snowden stole documents. Unfortunately, like Reality Winner did. You don't take what doesn't belong to you. And the secrets of the United States, which I'm evaluating now, some of these things showed our ability to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Which means he was going to sell or brag with the capability of America to actually defend itself against enemies. That is gold mine. It is crown jewels, crown jewels intelligence for a foreign intelligence agency.
I mean, his tendency to incriminate himself, but don't you wish he'd either had to take the stand or someone asked him, why did you take that specific? Why did you take that specific pice of intelligence? Why did you take the piece about...
That MSNBC needs to bring me back on for,
Yes.
Is that I looked at just the headers of those documents. All right. A lot of them come from my world, which means they would have compromised how we got the information, and those sources would have closed off. And, there's not top secret, with special access controls and code words all over it. I think he understood how serious those code words meant. And the more code words and caveats on there, particularly HCS, human control, human intelligence control system. That's the CIA's way of saying you will compromise individuals who may die. So
Yeah.
you never screw with an HCS document.
And
But
that
Donald
we
Trump,
people are
either
pointing.
dragged or felon. There's no in between, or both.
Yeah, people are pointing back to the New York Times headline about CIA says an unusually high number of our sources and informants were captured or killed right after. I mean, I don't know. As you said, like, what does the Malcolm Nance say about coincidence? I forget.
Nance's Law.
But you,
Nance's
you know,
law.
you write of your experience. The very idea of removing a document stamped classified, even accidentally, literally made me want to puke. It was not the trouble I could get in. It was the trouble that such a secret program I was involved in could be compromised by a simple administrative error. Then again, I would have to walk back to the building and confess. My career would have ended on the spot. I would never have again been entrusted with our nation's secrets. The idea of losing that trust even 30 years later still makes me sick. So you talk about the announced indictment of Trump, the Espionage Act. You say it'll be the greatest test for this country's secrecy laws since the arrest and trial of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg for revealing atomic bomb secrets to Russia. You said, I think it's that serious. It's certainly not going to end with capital punishment, but if the President of the United States had been trading America's secret for money or favors, that effect could be atomic. Donald Trump should be held accountable in the exact same way I would have if I'd walked out of the front gate of the NSA by complete accident. I mean, it really is stunning to wrap your mind around this whole thing, particularly given what you've done your whole life.
Well, everyone's arguing over the politics against this. Okay, unserious people are arguing politics. Serious people are arguing damage to the national security of the United States. And this is what makes me want to scream when I see some of the commentary that's happening out there. Okay, I'm not joking. When I think about how close I came, I literally was going to throw up from the very thought of all the chain of consequences that would take place. Not just for me. I could have had that person who looked after me, this doctor, he could have been found and killed, right? Because of an error I made and an error someone else made in the filing cabinet. This person, Donald Trump, stole those documents.
Yeah.
That means prison, period.
Well,
not a leg clamp. If he took 300 documents, let me tell you, help me Jesus, if they had anything to do with the construction of atomic bombs, done.
Yeah.
All right? We should all be screaming at the top of our lungs. This is about espionage. He stole from the people of the United States. He's a thief of America's top secrets.
And we have
no better. He's no better than Snowden, except for Snowden probably has better accommodations these days with a better toilet.
And Malcolm, can you explain to people, because there's so much disinformation out there, one of your other areas of specialty telling us about, is that it is not required that we prove he sold them or gave them to our enemies to be charged under the Espionage Act. Can you explain that?
All you got to do is walk out the door. And let me tell you, I'm still going to say this. I said this last week. There's more to this story.
Yep.
Who took these documents from the secret library? Who ordered these to be brought in from the various agencies? Who signed off on them, handed them to Donald Trump, and then made sure that they did not go back to the library? My money's on Kash Patel, all right, because it's not this guy. Nauta was a cook in the Navy. He's a Navy chef. All he did was move the box around, remove documents, and work for Trump personally. The people who actually stole these documents and gave them to Trump, knowing they were never returned, I don't want to see immunity. I want jail for these people.
You said that about Trump as well. This was the most important line in your piece, and we've linked to it. You really must read it. You said, if we are a nation of laws and the former president committed these crimes, prison is not just an option. It's the only form of justice that will renew our faith and bring us back toward the arc of a more perfect union. Trump must not be allowed to use the electoral process as a shield against accountability. The trial must be swift. Accountability should not be lessened simply because of the threat of violence. You said there should be, let's dismiss talk of ankle bracelets, home detention. This will not be enough. At campaign rallies, one can be sure he will raise his pant leg and show off the ankle bracelet to raucous applause. He will fundraise off his prisonality. Prison is the only option. If an example must be made, it should be made here and now. I mean, I'm sure you've heard Rachel Maddow talk about Spiro Agnew. This is the closest we've come in our history who avoided prison by just, vowing to leave power and not run again. Again, there is a difference. He would have been president. They had knew at that point that Nixon was going down for Watergate, so he would have been president. It's just not analogous, is it? What the situation we're in with Donald Trump?
Not at all. Not at all. Spiro Agnew volunteered to leave power at a time when you have to understand most of those people in government were World War II veterans, like your dad. They understood the rules. Trump does not care about them. He is out there today confessing. He's confessing, saying these documents were my property. The Presidential Records Act. For every one of you listening, anytime someone brings that up, you need to start with, that's a lie. The Presidential Records Act says they are the property of the people of the United States. He does not have the right or authority to own them, keep them, or do anything. He is trying to reframe, and gaslight us and everyone who's listening to believing that it was okay, 50-50. Maybe one side was wrong, maybe one side was the other. Hillary Clinton didn't steal documents. Joe Biden didn't steal documents. Mike Pence didn't steal documents. Yeah. This is theft. Yeah. He deliberately stole America's top secrets. No argument other than that should come out of your mouth.
Quickly, as a Navy man, from generations of Navy men, Walt Nauta, talk to me about Walt Nauta. There he is, playing manservant last night.
Yeah.
Again, why throw your life away for this criminal?
Oh, I gotta fan myself again. Holy Jesus.
It's getting hot in here.
To be exceptionally shouty today. I thought I would have a lot of Schadenfreude deliciousness going on. God dang it. Walt Nauta, I am a Navy Senior Chief Petty Officer. When you become a chief, you swear a second oath to the Navy. Not just the one to the Constitution, but to uphold the Navy, the rank, the honor, traditions of service, navigation, and unity to make sure that the idiots below you don't do anything stupid and the stupid officers above you don't continue to do stupid things. What did he do? He literally became a puppy dog for the President of the United States. Holy Jesus, this is so uncheap. All right, look, I'm blade handed. I'm putting my finger out like my
Wow, the blade hand. Uh-oh. All right.
This is how I am. Don't ever refer to him as a Navy chief.
All right.
Refer to him as XE8. That's his pay grade. He got paid, but he ain't a chief.
Right.
And every chief that's listening out here, or anyone that's ever served under one, knows that I just went full on chief on this discussion because
I want to break in the Navy. I feel for real, all the real sailors out there. Real quick.
Cow. Why did you do this? First thing in the morning.
Okay, we're real long, but
now he needs to go to prison to let him know how serious this is, and not just any prison. Apparently, he did some of this while he was on active duty in the Navy.
Oh my God!
So I
in the brig,
recalled to active duty court martial, and then send him to Fort Leavenworth and let him think about it whether he wants to flip on Donald Trump.
Yeah, real quick, Rip. We're extra long and you're extra shouty, which I love.
Yep.
But you retweeted, Trump supporters are organizing on fringe social media platforms, finding the names of federal prosecutors, compiling information about their children and families. We need to start killing. One MAGA cultist said, another said their children are fair game. You said if only someone had warned about this years ago. Check the book, They Want to Kill Americans. This is why I say every day he is a clear and present danger to America.
If you haven't bought that book, go out right now, tee it up. It's coming.
Yep.
It's coming. These people are talking armed sedition now. And it didn't happen in Florida. It's the hillbillies out in the mountains that are talking about taking down power grids of liberal cities, going out and killing Jack Smith's family. All right? I warned all about this over a year and a half ago.
Yep.
The book is there for you. Go read it. Sign up to my Substack. You can read about how bad things are going to get.
All right. Read everything, including his Substack. We've linked to it.
Yep.
And danced in the Navy today in honor of real American patriot sailors like Malcolm Nance. Love you, Malcolm.
Bye.